So thank you everyone for attending. I am Tim Swan, the Community Development Director with the City of Page, and I'll be your moderator for this short video. And we'll begin with a national and state level update, followed by the bulk of the presentation. Currently around the country, most states are opening slowly and cautiously. Our state's leading economist, Elliot Pollock, referenced that this will result in an economic recovery that is slow and tentative. George Hammond with the University of Arizona states that recovery will most likely be in the shape of a Nike swoosh rather than that V that many of us were expecting earlier on. The Federal Open Market Committee's post-meeting statement also predicts the same as well. April ISM manufacturing numbers show a manufacturing recession. A lot of it comes back to supply chain constraints being a major contributor for that. Pending home sales had fallen also in March, nationwide as well as within the state. For Arizona specifically, airline travel, both international and domestic, at our hubs were down 50% for March, and it does not look much better for April. It's going to be much worse as well. Arizona unemployment claims are down from last week. However, at this point in time, it's nearly 9 times over what it was 1 year ago. Governor Ducey recently announced new guidelines. The stay home, stay healthy, and stay connected order is extended until May 15th, but between now and then, there will be a releasing of restrictions. So May 4th, retail businesses currently not operating can begin curbside pickup. May 8th, expanded in-person retail can resume as long as social distancing and recommended sanitation measures are implemented. Also on May 8th, cosmetologists and barbershops can resume appointment-based services as well. May 11th, restaurants and coffee shops can resume dine-in services with physical distancing in place and those sanitation measures as well. As we all know, updates can happen quickly, so make sure you stay connected to the latest information straight from the governor's website itself, where you can find the full guidance and updates as they happen, as well as the full executive orders at azgovernor.gov. You can also stay connected by following the City of Page and the Page Lake Powell Chamber of Commerce. Both organizations do have a website and a Facebook that is constantly updated. But again, the governor's website is straight from the source as well. As of the 22nd, there is $135 billion remaining in the Paycheck Protection Program. However, there's still some uncertainty on who is actually still accepting application, as well as that moving amount of funds remaining. There's also been breaking news regarding the SBA Emergency Injury Disaster Loan reopening here. Both SBA programs will be touched upon in this presentation here. The Arizona Commerce Authority has launched a comprehensive web portal that includes webinars, videos, as well as a wonderful PPP loan calculator tool. These resources can be found at azcommerce.com. And finally, there are a number of private micro grants from around the nation. They are awards that range from $500 to $10,000. They come and go pretty frequently. However, if you are looking and need help looking, the Chamber of Commerce as well as the City Economic Development Division are able to help out with that and can offer some resources. Again, they do come and go. So to introduce the rest of the speakers here and the topics that we're going to cover, we have the Page Lake Powell Executive Director for the Chamber of Commerce giving us a regional, local, and state update. We have some local banks that will be providing us status on applications as well as addressing the outlook on our future financial situations. We have a couple of speakers from local organizations who have experience with the PPP and successful funding. We have the Small Business Development Center giving an update on those SBA programs and giving everyone a heads up on resources that are available and advice as well. In closing, we have Greg Martinez with our Economic Development Division with the city. We'll talk about next steps, what to expect, and some cutting edge tools that will be afforded here pretty shortly, as well as collaborations that have occurred throughout this presentation. If you have any questions whatsoever, there is a Q&A box below. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our friend with the Arizona Commerce Authority, James Kerr, who will be giving us an update at that state level.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, thank you everyone for allowing me to be on this call with you guys. It's been a tough time for us all, but Page is one of those communities that is extremely resilient, usually based on tourism and their economic impacts. Also, with the Navajo Nation in as much trouble as it is, you guys still manage to keep your head above water, which is fantastic. I want to say in the last several months that I've participated with you guys on your strategic business plan to move Page forward into the economic development side and create new jobs and new business outside of tourism has been extremely exciting. You guys have the right ideas. You know exactly where you want to go. And by collaboration and asking for outside opinion, I think you're getting there much ahead of a lot of people. So that's a great thing. I think you mentioned, Tim, 135 billion. My number was 128 billion in the PPP fund this morning. So there's still plenty of dough out there. If you guys have small businesses, and Scott and Oscar, if you guys have capacity, that's absolutely fantastic. We are still at the Commerce Authority encouraging small business to get on board with this and get it done. Obviously, EIDL has become a closed process at this point, except for agriculture. So if you have agricultural businesses, they are allowed to move forward with an EIDL loan. However, I think they're still just trying to get through the application process. Encourage those businesses, encourage your small guys to go after the PPP loan. When you think about it overall, it's really a pretty good deal. But anyway, so that's exactly where the state's encouraging. And as Tim mentioned, we've done our websites where they're collaborative and they are up to date at all times with ArizonaTogether.org, which is the Gov's website, and our website, azcommerce.com, that'll give you all the COVID updates. The webinars, we're running a series of boot camps right now for small business on their introduction back into business. I know it's a scary time and an intense time for them going back into business, but that's what these boot camps are for. So encourage your businesses to attend these, because they have all sorts of financing mechanisms, processes in place, and they're all on the website if you missed last week's. So once again, you guys are doing a fantastic job. I can't commend you enough on your direction in this hard time and how you've kept your head down and consistently, concentrated on the future of Page, Arizona, and what we're going to do for moving forward for new business there. You guys are doing an excellent job, and I encourage you to continue that.
Jamie, thank you so much for everything here. Jamie's contact information will be linked at the end of this video. Thank you. Next up, we have Judy France, the Executive Director with the Chamber of Commerce, with the Chamber's update.
Good morning, Tim, and welcome to all of these people that are listening to this. I want to give you an update of what the Chamber's been doing. We may have been closed, however, we've been working really hard. I have been at home, and since March, actually about the 19th, we started developing these webinars, Zoom meetings with Greg Martinez and myself, who's with the city, to really focus on the local business community and to get them out by industries on days to discuss how is COVID-19 impacting you, where do we go from here, and now we're looking into post-COVID-19. We have shared a lot of the information on these calls about the SBA, the EIDL loans, and best practices for COVID-19. We've also been working with a Page Adventure Park Pass, which we're excited about because we know we're a tourism town. We've got to go forward with our tourism, and how do we do that? By inviting people up to get some of the best adventures up here in Page that we have to offer. So we have Zoom meetings going on 5 days a week currently. I also am attending all the SBA meetings, all the business impact meetings with the county, and the COVID-19 meetings with them. And I've shared what our business community is doing up here because they want to know what's happening in Page. So it's giving them a good idea and a taste of what's happening. I've had surveys going out that people have generously been filling out to share what the impact has been on them. I've also been in contact weekly. I'm on the calls with Senators Sinema. I'm on the calls with Senator McSally And Congressman O'Halloran also had a chamber executive meeting that he hosted for us, which was very informative because we were really able to give him a taste of what's going on with the chamber members. It's really impacted my members, and he really wanted to hear that. So it was really kind of good for us to be able to give him a real picture of that. Also, on the Arizona Commerce Authority, which was just mentioned, I've been on those webinars as well. And then Governor Ducey has a call every week. And I get on that call, and then we get the notes from Laura Boughton. So I share all of this. I have a great Facebook page I developed called Page Americans United. It's on with Holly Shopman, several other moderators. And that page is all about bringing Page together and working together. And I share all the information I'm getting from this back to them so that they have more information. I even have my cell phone out there where people can call me if they have questions. And it's been very helpful to a lot of people. And if I don't have an answer, I go find the answer. We also put out a dining guide because the biggest thing was our restaurants were closed. It is located on the Chamber's website, on the radio station. It's also in the newspaper. We update that regularly. Also, what's to do in Arizona in Page? Well, we had to list down what was still open, and we'll be adding to that now as the governor is lifting. So we're trying to be a real informational center for them. We also have a listing of CPAs if people are needing that. Banks, Oscar's on, Scott is on. We have several people who can help people with the PPP loans. We're going to continue to do the business meetings as Greg and I have been doing. We may be condensing them down a little bit, but we feel it's still important. COVID-19 post is going to be treading new uncharted waters, so we want to be able to stay in touch with the business community. And I'm excited to say that many of my members are now starting to get the PPP loan, which is making me very happy because it's allowing them to reopen. And I want to just thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share that this is what your chamber does for you. And we will be there through all of this. And if you have any questions at all, please give me a call at the chamber or send me an email. Thanks so much.
Judy, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. A lot of people don't understand that just because the lights aren't on at the office doesn't mean that the lights aren't on 24/7 at home. I can tell she's been a very, very hard worker. Her and the city, we've been having conversations throughout every single weekend for the past 5 weeks. Up next, we have some updates from banks. We're going to start off with Scott Swank. We have Oscar on the line here as well. So Scott, if you'd like to go first.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine right now. To give you an update with where the Bank of the West is, over the past week, Bank of the West has been working 24 hours a day to take and submit PPP applications. We have submitted and gotten approved for over $3 billion worth of funding and over 18,000 applications, which is awesome. Currently, if you have not received a letter saying that you have gotten approved through the SBA, please contact me directly. Or if you have received them, you will be getting a DocuSign document through your email within 10 calendar days of the day that you actually got your approval letter, and then funding would happen a few days after that. So that way everyone has an actual timeline from when they can expect their funding. Currently, we are not accepting new applications. I am not aware as of this time if we are going to reopen that application. If we do, I will definitely put something out through the chamber and also through Tim.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. Bank of the West contact information will be available here at the end of the webinar. Next up, I want to introduce Oscar.
We are actually currently taking applications at the moment. Just to give you an idea of what I've been doing so far, we have taken more than 20,000 applications, and we are still processing application at this moment as well. If any business owner is interested in applying, the only thing that he needs to do is call us, reach us, and we will provide a link, a special link for that business so they can go and apply for the SBA program. We will guide that business then through the process, and it takes a little bit right now. At the beginning, we struggled a little bit creating the process, but right now it's pretty straightforward, and we'll continue to take applications till the funds lax. We are pretty happy with the results that we're having right now. The last projection that we have is we submit approximately a bulk of 22,000 applications, and we are approving those. We're receiving approval of those applications as the days goes by. So it's pretty exciting moment for us for how we've been helping the community, and we just want to keep doing it. So if you're interested in applying, please don't hesitate to call us, and we will guide you through the process.
Oscar, thank you so much. So next up, we have some testimonials from organizations that are here local. We have Brad here with Six.
Thanks for having me.
How quickly did you jump into getting PPP?
Well, as soon as I got the word from Scott that the applications were available, I think it was on a Sunday, I jumped right on it and got the application filled out.
Awesome. How long did it take you to get your documents together?
Well, I have a pretty good accounting system. It took me just a matter of a couple of hours. I scanned my quarterly 941s. I scanned my DES documents. I scanned most all of my quarterlies and my year-end 940. I scanned payroll reports, and that's about it, and attached them to my application. It was fairly easy.
Did it help that you had a good accounting system ahead of time, and sort of what were your thoughts if you did not have that in place?
Well, I'd have been lost without a good accounting system. I'm lucky enough to have a good CPA, and that I do about 90% of my own accounting. So that information was all readily available to me.
You mentioned your accountant, but what other resources did you use, if any, to help get you your PPP?
Well, just pretty much my own accounting system, my QuickBooks and my records that I keep. I'm pretty attentive as to my quarterlies and all my federal reports, state reports, and so those were ready. I had copies of my W-2s, my W-9s. I had all of my accounting in the file ready to go. So my accounting's up to date every morning.
How long did it take for you to actually get that check, and to conclude, if there's are there any words of advice that you have for some general business owners here?
Well, I think your accounting system is primarily the key. There was some confusion as far as the ability to add owners' draws or distributions to the request, and I did not add that. But I understand later on that that SBA was allowing owners to put in their distributions or their draws into that request. But otherwise, it was pretty smooth. It took me 4.5 weeks from the time I filled out the application. I got the DocuSign documents in an email, and 3 days later, it was funded.
Thank you very much, Brad. If anyone has any questions for Brad, I know there's questions that are popping up here, and we'll answer them during the appropriate sections. Next up, we have Greg Martinez and his experience with getting PPP.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the call today. Mine's very similar to Brad. Luckily, I had a good accounting system and a good accountant who helped put together our 941s. And that's really the key, right? But after the fact, there was a PPP loan calculator that's been created, because I know there was confusion as far as like how much do you apply for. So if anybody is interested in applying for it now, there is a PPP loan calculator available. I worked directly with Oscar at the National Bank of Arizona. That's who we banked with. And as busy as he was, he got back to me in my emails, and it was a very smooth process. As long as you have your 941s, and maybe I think we turned in a balance sheet as well. They put it all together in a package. They sent it off to the SBA approval. Once I got word from National Bank that our SBA loan had been approved, we received funding within maybe 2 or 3 days after that. So make sure you work with your local banks. That's really important. And then it was a pretty easy process as far as I'm concerned.
Next up, we have a representative from the Small Business Development Center of Coconino. We have Gina. She is a tremendous resource. I can't say enough. She has some updates, and she'll be able to answer some of these questions that are being asked. So Gina.
Hi guys, thank you so much for letting me join you and the City of Page. I want to second what Janie had to say at the beginning of this conversation. From the first moment that I went up there and had the opportunity to meet all of you guys, I just fell in love. Your tenacity, your drive, the way you pulled together is admirable. It inspires me every day. So hats off to you. There's a couple things in terms of the SBDC. I do want to let you know that we do more than help you in assisting with the disaster loans. We offer free, no cost, confidential business counseling services. We do everything from international trade to marketing, government contracting, my experiences in auditing and financial analysis, which I'm starting to work with lots of businesses now to project new numbers and cut in costs and things like that. So please, please lean on us during this time so that we can help you. We will be hiring a new position to be based up in the Page area. I'll have information tomorrow whether that position will be part-time or full-time, but hopefully here in the next month or two, we'll have someone up there permanently to assist you guys in your community. There's two things that I want to share with you guys. For those of you who may be looking for lenders for the PPP program, this is a website that's available on the SBA's website. So it's sba.gov/paycheck protection find. And if you put in your email or your zip code right down here, it's going to bring you up a list of all the lenders in your area that may be accepting applications. We already heard from Scott at Bank of the West that they're not. National Bank and Oscar still is, who, by the way, both those banks up there have done unbelievable jobs for the community. A couple other resources that I want to tell you about where we've had really successful client experiences is with Cabbage and PayPal. I had a client get funded in 30 hours through PayPal at the end of last week. So just so you know that there are some other options, and if you need assistance in locating those, you can reach out to us. Greg talked about the paycheck loan calculator. So the Arizona Commerce Authority and the SBDCs actually have a partnership. The open houses and community forums that they have every week, most of the time are staffed by the SBDC offices. And so you'll find us there in addition to reaching out to us online. But I wanted to show you this paycheck loan calculator, and it just walks you through the information that will be needed to complete your PPP application in terms of how much you might be eligible for, and also the forgiveness piece. So I just wanted to highlight these things that other people have talked about. Now, one of the things that we are hearing, and it was a question in regards to a person on this call, is whether the EIDL loans are going to become available again, and we don't know yet. We were hoping that we would know by this call today. They have been open for agricultural firms, and so what we believe is going to happen is that we're going to see openings based on industry sectors. So right now it's for agricultural. Maybe on Monday or Tuesday it might be restaurants or mechanic shops or something like that. So we think that the openings we're going to see moving forward are going to be targeted by industry. That is not definitive, but that is what we believe is going to happen. And we are encouraging everyone to still get out and apply for the PPP loans as there's still funding available. So please contact us with questions and continue doing what you guys are doing. It really is inspiring. If you follow us on our Facebook page, it's Coconino SBDC. We do host webinars every week. So we are doing Mondays at 2 and Thursdays at 10. And you all can register and log in right now. It's just we update guidance on the PPP and information as we have it twice a week. But we are going to start with a series on opening your business and managing your cash flow. Expect to see those courses starting in about the next week or two. And so if you follow us on our Facebook page, you'll get all that information.
Thank you so much, Gina. Next up and finally, we have Greg Martinez with the city's Economic Development Division.
We are all excited for some stuff to reopen, especially barbershops. I'm guilty of that. This is the shaggiest my hair has been for a long time. So I can't wait for some things to open. Essentially, as restrictions are being phased out for Arizona, Tim touched on that already about the May 8th, May 11th, May 15th. We as a community need to be 100% prepared. For the last couple of weeks, as we've been on these industry calls with lodging, with marine rentals, with tour operators, and also with restaurants, we're seeing a gradual increase of visitation to our community. Clearly, right now, our economy is based off of tourism revenue. And so we want to make sure that we're safe and protected during this time of reopening. I want to give a shout out to Antelope Point Marina for being proactive and responsible for, and this is really part of the cutting edge, right? So they had an employee that was ill. They didn't hide the fact, and they went and they confronted it right away on their Facebook profile, and they had a response for it. And I think that's something that as a business community we have to be really focused on, is not only how do we keep ourselves safe, but also in the case where something like this does happen, what is your response? And I really encourage everyone to be as open and forthright as possible. That is really ultimately the key, is that in this day and age of technology, things are going to leak out. People are going to talk. And if it seems like you're hiding what you're trying to do, it's going to really brand us as being unethical and possibly not a safe place to be. So while cutting edge resources are a little bit more technologically savvy, this is a very simple one that I believe everyone will accept and understand. We also are continuing with our industry meetings, such as Judy with the Page Lake Powell Chamber of Commerce. We are going to condense them. But over the last 6 weeks, we've really, what I think, have built bridges between businesses who typically have probably seen themselves as competition. And why this is so important is that how many times have we as customers in different restaurants have heard people who are tourists say, well, it's 6 p.m., there's nothing to do. That's nails on a chalkboard for me. So really this collaborative effort, reach out to your neighbors. If you're a restaurant, reach out to a tour operator. If you are a marine rental, reach out to a hotel. Connect with each other. There is really nothing more important right now than building a plan for yourself moving forward on how you can keep your customers engaged but also safe. You as a business owner have your own specific COVID-19 plan. Post it. Have it available for people to see as they come into your business. Create that type of social contract, social agreement with them, that if you promise to keep them safe, they will do their best to keep you safe as well. And it's that type of we may call it cutting edge, but it's really just a social contract that you're committing with your customers. If you feel unsafe, don't be afraid of asking people to wait outside. Don't be afraid to ask them to return to their car until your lobby is clear again. Everyone will understand that. And really, as we have tourists come back to our community, keeping our community as safe as possible has to be the number one priority. We are also working on a local job bank. We know that a lot of people are concerned that people will not be returning to work as usual due to unemployment. And so if you have any jobs that you want to post, or there's anything that you're interested in as far as getting word out there, please contact me. We are working with the Arizona at Work labor force to create a local job board. As much as COVID-19 has thrown a wrench into our system, I'm very appreciative to have had these industry meetings. I've met a lot of people who typically I wouldn't through my normal day of work. So it's really paramount. Please connect with your business community. Have a COVID-19 plan. Have some window graphics on your front door or somewhere people can see it while they walk in. Tourism is going to ramp up whether we want it or not. It's coming. And so how you and your business prepare to protect itself is how we're going to be successful. I appreciate everybody on this call. I look forward to continuing collaborating with people. And honestly, I look forward to a healthy and safe tourism season. Can't wait to see those California license plates. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you so much, Greg. In closing here, I want to thank you, everybody that's in attendance. I know a lot of you are actually very, very active in our community. And without your quick thinking and expertise that you bring along and bring to the table, I promise you that we as a community would not be in the place we are, and it would be a much worse situation. So thank you. And again, thank you for the panelists here for providing your resources through thick and thin and being the leaders during these times of uncertainty. This webinar, along with links and contact information, will be posted on the city website that can be shared. Finally, prayers and good thoughts to those most affected. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay in touch.